Appreciate everybody being here. Just recapping the weekend. Really hard fought, physical game. A lot of guys on both sides banged up after that game. Double overtime. Got to give Oregon State credit for doing the things they needed to do. Really proud of a lot of our kids' performances. When you go back and look at that game, some kids played really extremely well. Avery Morrow played really well in the game. Was really proud of Braden Fowler Nicolosi. Going into that game, it had a lot of the same qualities that we had last year going into Utah State. And really tough environment on the road, physical team. And I just think Braden showed a lot of growth and maturity as a quarterback, playing in that tough environment with the noise, getting everybody in the right position, not turning the ball over, giving his teammates a chance to make plays and win. Torrey was fantastic. Horton looked like his old self out there. Our offensive line is probably playing as well as any offensive line I've ever had. And I'm really proud of Jacob Gardner, all of those kids, Savion Henderson and Tanner Morley, Drew Moss, Aaron Karras, just really played outstanding. There's some incredibly well-blocked plays in that game. Our defense got some turnovers early, and that's important. And so we got to take those positives and grow with it. The nucleus of our team is starting to come together, and it's coming together at an important time. We're going into conference play, and so we got to tie all that together and be the type of team that continues to improve every week. So I'm encouraged by that. Get a chance to come home to Canvas this week, start our first conference game versus San Jose State, and really a team that's playing really well. Ken Nui Matalolo, what a quality coach we're going to play against, and he's an all-time winningest coach at Navy. Just has done a fantastic job at San Jose. I have a lot of respect for Ken. He's a fine gentleman as well, and his team is playing really good. Their quarterback Emmett Brown is doing a nice job making plays and throwing the ball around. A nice running back in Chalk, number 0. And Nick Nash, their former quarterback, is playing wide receiver. They let him throw it a little bit at wide receiver too, but he's playing as well as anybody in the conference. And they're scoring a lot of points, doing a good job on offense. Defensively, very similar to what they've been. Coach Odom's still there. We played against him several times, and really quality defense. And their strong safety, Rahimi, is a really good player. Jordan Pollard, number 10 at linebacker, has been super solid. And Sione Atiola at defensive line, number 42, is a really quality D lineman. They're a solid defensive team. They're going to give you some disruptive things up front, play good solid coverage, not give up a lot of deep plays. So we're going to have to really do a great job and execute. Overall, we're really excited about coming back home. We're getting to be at the midway point of the season and rolling into conference play, and this is what we've prepared for all year. So we're really looking to peak and playing our best football starting this week.
Jay, do you view the start of conference play as like a fresh start, or how?
No, I think, it's an opportunity really to start again. You play a lot of different games in the non-conference, and, we played on the road, we played teams at home, we play, on the road with different officials. I mean, it's just a different challenge every week, but it's all to prepare you for conference play. And, we want to be hitting on all cylinders. We've worked really hard to build a personality on this team, and I think we saw a lot of that on Saturday. We didn't finish with the win, but we ran the ball physically. I thought we complemented that with the passing game really well. It was one of our better offensive games, really. We were disruptive on defense. We got some turnovers, and we've got to continue that. So we work really hard to try to put all those qualities of our team together for conference play. And now we're going to be playing against some familiar teams that we know a lot about. We're back at home, and we've got to really build momentum and play better every week.
When you look at the Brown-Nash combination, does it trigger you to know half of his completions are to one wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, quarterbacks are human beings. They want to go to who they're going to have success with, and so. Nash, he's an impressive guy. He started as a quarterback for them. He's played both, wide receiver and quarterback. He's a very good athlete. He's a smart player. And he's done an excellent job for them. And so his productivity is unquestionable. He's done a great job. And we're going to have to do a good job against him. They had a lot of confidence throwing him the ball, and we're going to have to do a good job of covering him.
Seems Saturday there were some issues where play clock running down, I had to use some timeouts or scramble a little bit in those modes. Kind of what do you attribute to that?
We just got to have more of a sense of urgency. It was very difficult to hear, even with the headsets. Like I was telling Braden plays, and he couldn't even hear me with the headsets on. So it's just part of the environment, getting used to playing in a place like that. They do a good job there. They create a lot of noise. They got good fan base there. So that's part of playing on the road. We have to do a better job with that. We got to have a little more sense of urgency as well. Getting a play call, getting out of the huddle, making checks at the line of scrimmage, making sure everybody can hear. One of the things when you play in a loud environment like that is, as a quarterback, you got to go up and down the line and tell everybody what to do. And so Braden got caught a couple times with the clock running down, and we had to use some timeouts, and that's something that we just got to have a little bit more sense of urgency with.
Are there any process things you have to do with that, or like you say, is it more just?
It's very difficult to replicate that. We try and practice, but until you get out there, you don't anticipate not being able to hear from a headset. And so we'll do our best to learn from that and be better, but. That was a tough environment to play in and kind of unique circumstances.
A couple questions on Newer. One, how did he do and feel, and then was he on a little bit of a snap count?
Yeah, we wanted to be smart with him and not re-injure that, but it was so good having him out there. He was great. He did create a turnover, and he's just one of those players that's a disruptive player. When he gets in there, he can change the offense, and it's great having him back. We want to keep him healthy, so we'll keep bringing him along in practice and in games. But getting him back, getting Torrey back, those guys can make some plays for you. So we need to continue to build on his performance.
What was Newer's pitch count, so to speak, and then what do you think it'll be this week?
He didn't play as much as he would normally play if he was totally healthy. He had probably 20, 25 snaps, and so hopefully we can build on that. But he did give us a shot in the arm as a pass rusher, and we need that. We need to put that pressure on the quarterback more.
Jay, when you went back and watched the end of game sequence in the second overtime at the goal line there, was it just kind of a lack of execution there? I know you guys have been running the ball really well all game, getting good push. What did you kind of there?
Yeah, we that last drive wasn't one of our better drives, and we weren't able to get the ball in the running, and we actually had Torrey on the outcut in the goal line. The ball was just inside him a little bit, and I know Braden would like to have that throwback. So it's just one of those deals where we got to finish. We got to finish, and that was one of the things I told our players. Is we got to. Every game you learn something from, and every critical play, whether it was a fourth down, a speed option, us executing on the H out down there, those are plays you got to prepare for. We take every Thursday, Friday, and we practice critical fourth downs and critical 2-point plays that we got. We had a couple 2-point plays that we had to execute in that game. So all those special circumstances are things you have to prepare for during the week. And so, that's when we just got to finish a little bit better and I'm sure we're going to be in those situations again. So we got to do a good job preparing for it.
And then flipping the switch to this week, how difficult is it when you go from such a run-heavy attack with Oregon State to have, and obviously San Jose State is a very pass-heavy attack. What's the kind of difficulty in kind of flipping the switch practice-wise?
I mean, we show our defense a lot of that in practice. So it's just part of it. That's the great thing about playing the teams that we play on our schedule. We see a lot of different styles of offense, and our defense is used to preparing for that, and it will be a lot different. Oregon State really leaned on the running game, and we'll work much different schemes this week preparing for San Jose State.
You said your offensive line is about the best you've ever coached, and that includes having Aaron starting for the first time, Tanner Morley starting. How have you liked how your young guys have fit in with the veterans that you brought back?
I just think, our veterans have shown really great leadership. I mean, Jacob Gardner is the most experienced lineman in this conference. And he just is so detailed that his preparation is so good. It's really rubbing off. Drew Moss is an amazing player as well. And both those two guys, I mean, they played over 2,000 snaps in college football. And their leadership is rubbing off on Savion and Aaron Karras, and now Tanner Morley's had to play the last 2 weeks. All those guys have stepped up and played well. Christian Martin had to go in and play at the end of the game, and we had some new players in there at the end, and we just were a little bit off execution-wise, and so those guys will learn from that and they'll be better. But I'm really proud. We've had a number of plays that have just been blocked extremely well, and the ball's getting to the secondary, and our backs haven't even had to make anybody miss. And so if we can consistently do that, we're going to see a lot of positive play going down the stretch.
How have Aaron and Tanner played?
Tanner's been really good, and Aaron, I'm really proud of him. Before this year, he hasn't had a chance to play much. He's gotten his opportunity, and he's been consistent, and he's been physical. And we just challenge those guys to put physical finishes on tape, and really, really proud of our offensive line play right now.
Coach, do you get the sense that the players are kind of viewing the start of conference in the same way you described earlier?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it. It's exciting. I mean, we're the only team in our league that hasn't played a conference game yet. Everybody else has played conference games. Some played multiple conference games, and I showed them today. I mean, every Monday I kind of recap where we're at and what we need to do. And, we're the only team in our conference that's 0-0 in league play. And so that's a great opportunity for us. And we want to be the team that gets better every week. And if we value practice and the way we prepare, we will. And we've taken a lot of pride over that over the years. We've always taken a great pride in being a team that improves through October and November. And, this is the best time of year. We've been practicing for a couple months. We got a routine and a rhythm of what we do, and our guys are excited to go play. And, I made the analogy, we want to be like lions, and a lion, when he's not hunting, he's resting and he's recovering. But when he hunts, it's all gas and no brakes, and that's the way we want to be. Every day we practice, we want to hunt. Every day we play, we want to play balls out. And so it's just the way you have to be, and it's the way that the mentality we want our team to have. And we got a lot of guys doing that Saturday, and so we got to continue to build on that.
Jay, you mentioned Ken's success at Navy. I'm not sure if you coached against him while he was there, but is it kind of unique to see the style of play that they obviously had to play with there, and what he's running at San Jose State?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to his coaching. I think he's a veteran coach. He knows what he's doing, and his team reflects that. I'm not surprised at all, to be honest with you. I think they've done a really good job finding out how they need to play and compete at San Jose State, and that's what good coaching is. And so, but I've been impressed with them. They've taken the skilled kids that they've had, and they've gotten the most out of their talents. And they're always a challenge to play against. Their defensive coaches have been there the last few years. they do a really good job, and we've had some really competitive games with them over the past. So it's always a challenge when you line up against these guys.
Jay, like you said, you are the last team in our conference play, and I know you've been playing non-conference, but you're taking notes. What stood out to you about what's happened in the Mountain West, specifically with the teams that are on your slate?
Yeah, I think we've had some teams that have done some good things in the non-conference, but I think most everybody is like us, to be honest with you. We're improving every week. We're trying to get better. We're trying to utilize our playmakers the best of our ability. And the teams that execute the best and play the best together win in this league. That's just the way it is. And so, we've lost a tough game last week. We didn't like the taste of it, obviously, but we did a lot of things that we've been working hard to do. I like our mix on offense. It's taken us a couple weeks to feel comfortable doing some of the things that we're doing, but the reason we did it is for conference play. So, there's a reason why we made some of the adjustments and changes that we did to fit our personnel so we can go compete in conference play now. So we got to make that pay. We got to continue to improve and get some defensive players back and be disruptive defensively. And I'm excited that we're the only team that hasn't played a conference game, and now we need to take advantage of that and get off to a good start this week.
How much does Torrey's return help with that offense and the, I guess, abilities, capabilities?
No, it's huge. We have to be explosive and get explosive plays, and we got 3 explosives in the running game, and we got 2 big explosives in the passing game with Torrey, and we want to keep growing. I was really proud of Caleb Goody in the game, Jamari Pearson in the game, and Jordan Ross is executing better, and in Armani. Those other receivers, Torrey kind of steps their game up when he's practicing and he's around, and I thought Torrey was a great influence on them last week, and Braden too. Braden grabbed those receivers and met with them on Thursday before we left, and I just think that leadership and that maturity is shown. Him and Torrey got together and really said, hey, we need to get with these guys and talk through the details, and that's what leadership is. And so I'm excited to have Torrey back. We only have 7 more games with that guy, and we're going to try to wear him out, he's been one of the better players in the history of this conference, and has got a chance to set a lot of marks. So it should be a lot of fun these last 7 games watching him play.
How much of what you've learned playing 5 non-conference games alters the way you game plan for conference?
Well, you're playing a familiar foes. When you play people that know you and you know them, you just have to take that into consideration. And there's a sign of respect, I think, that we have for people that you play against. And so, that goes into it. But that familiarity is important, and it helps preparing for them. I think we know the kind of team that we're going to play and what we need to do to beat them. And we've got some history to rely on that. So, but it'll be a fun game. These conference games, this conference is a very competitive conference. And, I've had some former NFL coaches come in here and talk to us, and they look at this like an NFL league. The teams are very comparable. Nobody is that much better talent-wise than anybody else. So it's how your team plays with chemistry and how hard you play, really. And so that's what we're trying to do. And we're excited that, that we're into conference play, and there's always a little pep in your step when you get to play in conference.
Is there a bit of a benefit to being the last team in conference play, considering how many first-year coaches you're going to face in conference?
Yeah.
Give you an idea of how they're going to
Yeah, it helps to see people play and get a feel for what they're going to do. And, I think this conference really, the head coaches that have come into this conference with their experience, I think this conference has gotten better that way. And obviously Ken is extremely experienced, and so I just think it adds to the challenge of this league and the type of, systems that we see and the quality of coaches that we see.
The defensive backs had a big challenge laid out for them last week and like a new test coming this week. Can you speak to how they performed last game?
Yeah, I thought Dom did a nice job in the game. There wasn't a lot of passing scheme in the last game. There was more quick game and play action. They're going to see a lot more drop back this week. So it'll be a different challenge for them, but I thought they did a good job. We have to continue to be more physical in secondary. We got to do a good job challenging routes, especially on the perimeter. We got to do a better job of that. And so the challenge continues this week. We're going to see, some quality receivers and, a quarterback that likes to throw the ball. So they're going to get a ton of opportunities to show what they can do.